Now I love working in my workshop for obvious reasons. I've got all my tools and it's my little playpen, but I also do enjoy more and more working from home and sometimes just in bed. It's just easier, isn't it? Cup of coffee, bed. But my laptop sits on the duvet and it overheats and that's not ideal. So I want to build myself a little workstation so I can work from home with ease. And I think it should hold tablet, laptop, maybe somewhere to sketch, but I'd like to keep it quite slimline so I can fold it away and put it in a cupboard out the way. So I'm thinking a bit of 18mm ply, some tools, a pencil and a hinge, because that should help me make it smaller. So let's mark something out and then work out some proportions. Some smooth, soft angles, I think, nice little radius. And actually what I can do is I can just cut through them both at once. That will save me time and energy, won't it? And it comes back on itself. It would be easier if we just made it so it's jigsaw friendly, wouldn't it? Okay, now I think that is my final design. It looks a bit messy and like I've made a lot of mistakes, and that's possibly because I have made quite a few mistakes, but I did have to consider a lot of things, like the angle of the keyboard to ergonomically work whilst in bed, which I think is good to be at a slight angle, about 45. And then obviously the screen as well. The screen can't be tilted down, so that's going to be vertical, but also room for my hinge at the top. I think this is a lovely compromise. It's aesthetically, it's a little bit mid-century modern. I'm perhaps overcomplicating it, but I think the lines are quite sweet. They're quite cute. Two of these, hinge at the top. Happy days. I think the moral of this story is keep it simple, which I didn't do. All these little cutouts here have been quite fiddly. However, I now have two identical pieces, which when hinged around this hinge at the top, should do that. And that should actually hold my laptop in there perfectly. So I can work in bed. My tablet, I think, would probably go on this one here, so it's more vertical for maybe not so much work, but maybe relaxing with a film. And then when I'm done, folds away, nice and flat. That will go in a cupboard. And I've got a home office in my bedroom for my sheer laziness. Next up, I'm going to give it a good sand. And actually, I don't think it needs finished. It's beautiful birch plywood. I don't want to paint it or anything. So sand it, fit the hinge at the top, and then take it to the houseboat and do an email in bed. Right, sander. Look at the grain in that beautiful birch ply. Now in reality, you could use any offcut of an old wardrobe or any old piece of timber really, but you can't beat birch ply, and look at the edge. Once that's sanded, that is stunning. Now to fit the all important hinge. No fancy recessing in, it doesn't need that, it's a laptop stand. So I think simply surface mount that hinge there. And because I'm going into 18mm ply, I'm going to give it a little pilot hole just to make sure it doesn't split. I've got some little 20mm screws, but because they're going through the metal, hopefully that's a millimetre or two and they're not going to poke out the other side. Do you know what? I'm using the wrong tool here. I'm using an impact driver to delicately put a screw into a piece of 18mm ply. That's not good practice. I'm gonna take the time to put a screwdriver bit in the combi drill. There we go. see. Well, the screws haven't gone through the other side, so that's a start. I'm going to tighten them up just a fraction. And there we have it. I think that's definitely wide enough for my thighs, high enough for my thighs, and certainly big enough to hold my laptop with the screen vertical, the screen at a slight angle, my tablet, and I could even actually, it doesn't need to go over my legs necessarily, it could sit by the side of me in bed when I'm not working and I'm watching a movie and relaxing. And considering it's 2 bits of old plywood that were just left over in the workshop, you could actually use anything. Side of an old wardrobe, bit of scrap timber that's lying around, and it folds flat out the way. Small space design at its best. I'm quite chuffed with that. Started off as a daft idea, now quite useful for the houseboat. Go and try it out, I suppose. Work from home tomorrow.